Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another edition of Carolina Panthers Talk, brought to you by Blitzball Champ Gaming. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram, coming at you here once again from the U to the Tube. Alrighty, y'all. Week 6 is en route. Carolina Panthers will stay at home to host the visiting Minnesota Vikings. So, kind of wanted to take time to not only talk about this matchup, but also talk about just a little bit of what's been going on with some of the recent press conferences with Coach Matt Rule and also Robbie Anderson as well. So, let's get started. Let's take a look at this matchup for Carolina taking on the Minnesota Vikings, a team that did beat them last season. Looking at the matchup predictor, 54.3% favors Carolina, 45.3% favors Minnesota, and a 0.4% chance of a tie. Yeah, when you think about it, on paper, this might be supposedly an evenly matched game. I mean, despite the Vikings being 2-3, they haven't won on the road yet. Carolina is 3-2 currently. Of course, you know they dropped 2 against the Cowboys and the Eagles. But a couple of things to look at. Kirk Cousins has actually been playing good so far this year. 133 of 191, 1,396 yards, 10 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Kirk Cousins has done a good job of taking care of the ball. So, 10 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. It's a big difference. Whereas Sam Darnold has 6 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. 6 and 6. So, Kirk Cousins, he's been playing well. He's been taking care of the ball. A couple of other things we got to look at. Looking at some rankings. I mean, when it comes to offense, Vikings are ranked 11th in total offense, whereas the Panthers are ranked 16th. So, Vikings are just about outside of that top 10 offense. I mean, you also got to look at the weapons the Vikings have. I mean, you got to look at folks like Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, who tore us up last season. And like I said, Kirk Cousins has been playing really well. They've been really spreading the ball out. Don't sleep on this Vikings offense. Not to mention, we have to also look at, let's see some leader stats. 1 second. But yeah, Justin Jefferson is at 462 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, him and DJ Moore are just about even. I know what's his face for the Vikings. Alexander Madison has been playing quite a bit lately, and doesn't have any touchdowns yet, but it's been contributing on that offense. I know they still have BC Johnson on injured reserve, and they got a couple of folks on the Vikings questionable. Anthony Barr at linebacker, CJ Ham fullback, Ben Elfson at tight end. So they got a couple of folks questionable. But definitely don't want to sleep on this Vikings offense. Uh, let's see. They're ranked 10th in net passing yards per game. I mean, Vikings definitely have weapons on offense, and they can definitely do some damage. That plus the fact that Kirk Cousins has been taking care of the ball, not turning it over, especially not as much as Sam Darnold has. And then if we look at defense, defense, the main major thing to keep in mind with the Vikings defense, they're ranked second in the league in total sacks. They have 17. Now I know that Carolina is tied for third with 16 sacks, but let's not sleep on the Vikings defense. 17 sacks so far. They know how to get after the quarterback. So I'm kind of worried for the offensive line. I'm very worried for the offensive line. They're also fourth in third down efficiency. I know Carolina's first, but Vikings are fourth in third down efficiency. Vikings have a good defense, y'all. It might not show quite in the record, but let us not sleep on the Vikings defense. They have a defense. They do have a defense. So, couple of people I would think to look out for. Sean Breland, Jefferson Griffin. I know they got Stephen Weatherly back, which I think is kind of funny. Sheldon Richardson. I mean, that D line. Anthony Barr. Eric Kendricks. I mean, Harrison Smith, Xavier Woods. Vikings have a defense, y'all. This Carolina Panthers offense is really gonna be tested. And right now, they don't have an identity. So, I'm nervous. For this Carolina Panthers offense. Let's see. Vikings are ranked 9th in points allowed per game for their defense. So, in a way, the Vikings are borderline a top 10 defense in the league right now. I mean, second in sacks, fourth and third down efficiency, 9th in points allowed. I mean, they got a pretty good defense. They got a defense that's consistently been getting after the quarterback, and they're good on third downs. And Carolina on third down efficiency, we're ranked 21st on offense. So I'm really concerned about the Panthers offense going into this game against the Vikings. They're going to really be tested. Not only that, I'm having deja vu again from last season, where we really should have beaten the Vikings, being that we had 2 fumble recoveries, return for touchdowns, and a muffed punt fumble recovery. And we still couldn't get the job done. Now, granted, we do have a better defense. So, hopefully, they'll be able to do more of the same. But you have to also ask yourself, will the offense be able to capitalize on turnovers? Because they definitely were not able to this past game against the Eagles. Now, at the same time, there is some good news as far as when it comes to the Carolina offense. So Pat Elflein did practice, and it looks like he is going to He called off the injured reserve and back to active. So that's a plus. Cameron Irving was a full participant. So it looks like Cameron Irving may be back as well. We also... Christian McCaffrey's 50-50 right now, still limited in practice so far. Looks like he's going to be another game time decision. Now, I don't know, y'all. It's another concern. It looks like we are getting some of the strength back on the offensive line, but Christian McCaffrey, I mean, look at how we've looked so far. 2 back-to-back games where he hasn't started, and that's turned into 2 back-to-back losses. You know, it's something to think about. He might not be able to play in this game. So, there's some worry there. But at least he's been practicing. I originally said last week give him one more week, but we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. I'm confident that Chuba Hubbard can contribute again. Like I said, he went over 100 yards last week, so I have no doubt that he's capable of doing that again. Did a good job running the ball, protecting the ball. So we know Chuba Hubbard can do that. My thing is... Oh, and they also noted that they are going to move Taylor Moton back to right tackle, where he's the strongest, which he shouldn't have been moved to left tackle in the Eagles game in the first place. They should have let Brady Christensen play left tackle since that's his position. So hopefully they won't make that mistake again. But hopefully... Oh, and Panthers have moved Kenny Robinson to the active roster. So the only thing is, they say that that's as far as he can get without him being signed to the 53-man roster. So we'll have to see what they will do. Also, we no longer have Corn Elder. Washington actually signed Corn Elder. So keep that in mind. We do not have Corn Elder anymore. So in response to that, Carolina has signed Doug Middleton to the practice squad, who played in App State. So we'll have to see what happens with that. And then it looks like still no Shaq Thompson. So Shaq will be out once again for this Vikings game. So just a couple of pieces to keep note of. But thankfully, looks like the O-line, is starting to get healthy again. But still, they're going to be seriously tested against this Vikings defense. It's going to be tough. It's really going to be tough. But I'll say this. This is still a winnable game, but Carolina has to execute on all cylinders. Defense has to continue to do what they've been doing, and when they get turnovers, the offense has to capitalize. Each one. Can't be just field goals. It's got to be touchdowns. Carolina has done very well with maintaining big leads, especially in the first couple of games. But lately, especially with this Eagles game, they had the lead and they really lost it and could not bounce back from it, especially considering the whole second half, all they got was a field goal. So this has to be another game where Carolina has to play 4 quarters of football on both sides of the ball. More so the offense, because, like I said, you saw what happened last week. But the defense continues to get that pressure make things hard for Kirk Cousins and cause him to make turnovers. Because, like I said, he's been doing a good job not turning over the ball. So the Carolina defense has a chance to change that. But going into this game, I'm very concerned for Carolina's offense, especially going up against this Vikings defense. So we have to really, we got to really dig deep. Now, the Vikings are ranked 22nd in rushing defense, so hopefully should be able to run the ball pretty well against them like we did against the Eagles. They are ranked 13th in passing defense, so they're not that bad in passing defense. So that's something that we gotta keep an eye out for. But they've done really, really well on third downs and getting to the quarterback. On paper, the teams, I guess you could say, kind of look even in a way. But honestly, this is going to be a tough game. Folks probably wouldn't normally feel that way because it's the Vikings. But this is going to be a tough game, y'all. This is going to be a tough game. And just looking at how the offense has been, I'm just not confident. Especially if they can't really get the offensive line going, even with folks returning. It's going to be a problem. But this is a winnable game. This is still a winnable game. My score prediction, ugh. I'm going to say 14-10 Carolina. I'm going to say 14-10 because I honestly just don't see this offense bouncing back and scoring a lot of points. I don't. I hope they prove me wrong, but I just don't see this offense scoring a lot of points. I think they may be able to squeeze off 2 touchdowns. Maybe Sam Darnold will get in the red zone and will capitalize on another rushing touchdown. Tommy Tremble, he's starting to become a red zone threat. But I could only see them put up 14 points. And I think this will probably have to be a game where the defense has to bail out the offense. Now, I hope they prove me wrong, but I'm going to say 14-10 Carolina for now. One thing that really, really annoyed the mess out of me was, so in the recent press conference with Coach Matt Rule, he put a good amount of blame in that Eagles game on the defense not being able to make the key stops that pretty much determine the game. Are you kidding me? The offense only scored a field goal. One field goal the entire second half. The defense got you a fumble recovery, an interception, and got the ball back into the hands of the offense by way of a safety. And the offense couldn't even capitalize on those 3 specific opportunities. But yet, you want to put a good amount of blame on the defense. Okay, I don't know what game you were coaching, Matt Rule, but you must have lost your mind. Now, I'm not saying that the defense is flawless, but that amount of blame? Come on, dude. Come on, dude. See, this is it's things like this why there's still a lot of people still questioning whether or not Matt Rule will be the guy or not. It's things like this, man. And then, I look at what Robbie Anderson was saying about, his meltdown, his frustrations and such. And he kept it real. He kept it real. He is a veteran and he wants to be in a position to make plays and help the team out. And he takes it to heart when he's not able to do that. And, some of it's on him, but I mean, the way he reacted, I mean, can you blame him? It also kind of reminds me of how so many people out there talked about how Cam reacted when Carolina lost the Super Bowl. I'm like, can you blame him? I mean, I don't understand how a lot of these folks expect for people to just go into these interviews all smiles and such and just acting like, oh, it is what it is. We were close, but just couldn't get it done. They lost the Super Bowl. What the heck do you how the heck do you expect them to react? I mean, it's stuff like that just really just bothers me. Oh, he had a meltdown. Oh, he got upset. I mean, I understand there's better ways to handle that, but can you blame somebody for reacting that way? It's like, dang, people act like, oh, they had a meltdown, so by default they're immature. It's funny. It'd be so quick to say that, but yet, remember when the Seattle Seahawks obliterated the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl? And Peyton Manning ran off the field, didn't shake nobody's hands or anything like that? Huh. It's funny nobody never said anything about that, but yet they want to get all on Cam's case for how he handled that interview post Super Bowl where Carolina lost. It's just stupid stuff like that, man. Just people get me sometimes because it's like, I mean, you act like these folks don't get passionate and aren't into it to the point where they react a certain way. T.O. was a drama queen, but one of the best wide receivers that's played in the game. Steve Smith was a firecracker waiting to explode. Or nah, let me rephrase that. A ticking time bomb that's exploded quite a bit. But he's arguably the greatest wide receiver to ever play for the Carolina Panthers. How is any of that different? Hmm? From how Robbie Anderson had his meltdown. How is any of this that different? Like, I don't know. I just don't get people sometimes. Oh, he needs to grow up. He had a meltdown. Oh, he needs to grow. I mean, geez, y'all, some of y'all act like he stabbed somebody. It's like, you know, you talk about how certain, receivers drop easy catches and this, that, and the other, and then, you get on their case. How do you think they feel when they drop a pass? How do you think they feel? How frustrated do you think they get at themselves? I guess if they have a meltdown, oh, I guess it's a big deal. Drop a catch in the end zone, they have a meltdown. Oh, he had a meltdown. He's immature. Just I don't get that. I really don't. But yeah, I just like I said, And even in the previous video I did, there's a lot that Carolina needs to get together, especially this offense going into this Vikings game. Because if we lose a third straight game, we're in trouble. If we lose a third straight game, we're in trouble. And the sad thing about it is, this isn't even a division game. I mean, yeah, we got the one win against the Saints, but we dropped 2 games against NFC East opponents. And then we could end up dropping another game against another NFC opponent, which I believe this is a NFC North. So I mean, if you think it's bad enough if we lose this game, what do you think is going to happen when we play the rest of the NFC South games? Especially with the Bucks. We haven't even played the Bucks. That's late in the season. So if we can't beat the Vikings, we in trouble. We in trouble. So those are my thoughts. Like I said, my prediction's 14-10 Carolina. Hopefully this is the game that they bounce back from. Word is that they've had a good practice today, and hopefully that'll continue. They're getting some guys back healthy on the offensive line. So hopefully they can end up getting this win over the Vikings, get revenge for last season, and go from there. But we'll see what happens. But anyway, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your thoughts, what's your keys to victory for this game. Let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching. I'm your host, Blitzball Champ Jason Ingram of Blitzball Champ Gaming, with another Carolina Panthers talk. Hope everybody has a blessed evening, and I will see y'all soon. Peace. Love y'all.